Good evening, guys, and happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces. Pardon my hair, guys. It is a little bit of a disaster right now, and I'm just like, I've got my thermal on actually underneath this, and then I got my other like thermal fleece on over this, and then I had on a flannel like shirt, button-up shirt over that, and then I had my sweatshirt on over that, so it was a little chilly out. I also had two pairs of leggings, and then a pair of like athletic yoga pants kind of over that. I was all kinds of bundled up for today, and I wasn't actually really that cold. I didn't even bring a blanket today because I noticed it's hard for me to kind of even use it when I'm like using the camera and stuff like that, you know, during the football game. And so but thankfully, guys, camera worked this week. It was amazing. It was awesome. We got new cords and things like that, and everything worked. However, the funny thing is that what we realized though was that the cord actually for the motor that like spins the camera, that it wasn't working. And it's like when we would have it down on the ground, it was kind of doing the same thing. It would end up working. Then as soon as we put it up in the air, it like doesn't want to move. And so what we realized was it was the tension on the like, you know, the wire that was hanging down. So what they ended up doing was actually they finally got the telescope up and they taped it like every, you know, couple like telescope lengths, which was awesome. It ended up working, and then maybe a couple minutes before the second half started, the battery ended up going out, and I was like, this is gonna be so horrible because they are gonna have to take all the tape off to be able to get the camera down from, you know, the tripod, and, you know, again, the telescope kind of tripod that they use, and then to get it all the way back down, they're gonna have to take all the tape down. They're gonna have to, you know, it was like, it's gonna be a whole process. And I was like, I feel again too, you know, we finally get it working, and it's working for this football game and everything like that. And then of course I'm like, they have it all kind of, like I said, all taped up and everything, and the battery ends up going out. And I was like, okay, but even if it takes a while to get everything taped back up again and everything like that, at least it happened a little bit before halftime. So if it does have to take us through most of halftime, you know, to get it back up and stuff like that, it'll be good. But actually when the coach, who he normally comes and fixes the camera and everything like that, when he actually put it back up, he didn't put it up with any tape, and it was working perfectly fine. So, and I never had any issues at all in the second half after they replaced the battery, and then it didn't have tape on it anymore. So I don't know what is up with it. I like, and then on top of that too, he was like, it might be the batteries too, like the, I think it was AA batteries that they use to actually rotate the you know, it uses to propel the motor inside of it. He's like, and that might have been it. Like there was just a whole bunch of stuff, and so I don't know. They ended up getting it working, and it never ended up stopped working at all. I didn't have to, like I said, call him over at all or anything like that, other than just for the battery when it needed to be replaced, which was, like I said, a couple minutes before halftime. So it actually was probably the perfect time that ended up working out and everything like that. I think I only missed like maybe 2 or 3 plays. I honestly want to say it was even less than that. I think it was like 2 plays or 3 plays maybe, and one of them I think was a penalty, so it didn't even matter anyway, or they called a timeout, the other team did, or something like that, and so we didn't miss much of the game at all. So it's kind of, again, one of the more perfect times for that to have happened, and everything worked out. I don't think I really missed any plays, you know, or anything like that. That's what went on in the evening. Again too, we went to the football game and everything like that. We had our contractor here earlier almost all day today. He ended up, you know, he was working upstairs, and I think everything might be like done, like sanded, and or not sanded, but like mudded and everything like that, although he might still be coming back tomorrow to finish up maybe a little bit more of stuff, and then I think by the start of like next week or whatever is when he'll be sanding. So like I said, that all got taken care of. Matthew ended up coming home too to come and watch the football game. But guys, we are, for the first time in 21 years, we are going to be playoff bound, which is absolutely crazy. Like I said, it was 2002 was the last time that they ended up being playoff eligible, because just to add to kind of that little bit of a fun fact is that none of those kids that were playing in the football game today were even alive or born when they the last time that our high school ended up making it to the playoffs. Another really cool thing was that on the same night tonight, our soccer team ended up also winning regionals. So they were announcing the score during the, because they played, I think, earlier. Maybe they started at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or something like that. But the high school football game at, you know, at our high school, because our regular season didn't end yet. Their regular season had already ended, but they ended up playing a regional game. So they're in the playoffs and playing that game. They played it tonight. And again, like I was mentioning, they ended up winning. So I think they won. I know when they were announcing the scores, they said that they were up 2-1. So then they ended up coming back on the bus, and they actually came and watched the end of the football game, and where we won. So we're actually going to be in the playoffs now too, which is really cool, because our soccer team, I want to say, I think it was 2009, they won state, which was awesome, because that was the first time I think any team has won state since the last time our high school football team won in like 74, I think it was. And like I said, I think there's been 2 years maybe since then that we've been playoff eligible even, which again too was in 2002, which was the last time. And I think there was a time in like maybe 80 something, I think possibly, that they ended up also making it to the playoffs. But again, I don't think either team won past the first round of either of those 2 years. But I think the first and only time that we had won states originally, we ended up, or you know, going into the playoffs, we won it in, I want to say it was 74 or 76 or something like that. So again, this is super awesome. But the soccer team, like I said, I think it was 2009 was the last team to have won, or you know, last, you know, again, student, anything like that, to one state. Then not this last year, but the prior year. So if this is the 2023-2024 like school year, it wasn't last year, but I think it was the 2021-22 school year, which I think sounds right, that we actually had our second state champion, which was the first in IHSA history have like girls wrestling. And so that was the first time that, you know, that was even a thing, and we ended up winning, which is awesome. And then I think last year she ended up winning, she got second place. So she's like really good, the wrestler that we have. And then last year though, in the boys swim, I don't remember what it was, like, you know, 100 meters something. I don't exactly know what it was, but he also won state, and I think he came in second place in a different event. And so it was really cool. But now again too, it's like somebody had mentioned it too, because they posted both the pictures that the soccer won today and that football won, and that they'll be playoff eligible. And somebody was like, wow, it's a really good year for our high school for sports, where we've had such a long dry spurt of like not winning, you know, again too, maybe we get second place, or you know, we win like a regionals here or there, you know, something like that. Because I do know it wasn't when Matthew was in school, I don't think, but I think maybe a little bit prior to that, they did end up, I think, like volleyball might have again made it pretty far, but I don't think they've ever won state. The same thing too, like basketball. I know when I was in school, actually one of the kids that was on the basketball team when I was in school actually is in the NBA now, but they again too maybe won regionals, sectionals, something like that, but I don't think they made it all of too far. But I do remember there was a big, like, you know, again, like student, you know, like they would bus students to the game and stuff like that, because it was playoff game and stuff like that. But again too, our football has been probably the weakest in all of the sports that we've not done very well in for so long. And so to finally have that and be, you know, again too, just in general, all of our athletics doing so well in these last, you know, again, handful of years has been really awesome. So like I said, it was just so cool. It was so fun. It was actually kind of crazy because it was really close at halftime. It's actually 14-13. We were up by only 1 point. We also scored, one of our touchdowns was off of a blocked punt, and one of the players, he ended up scooping and scoring it and ended up scoring a touchdown like immediately. It was very early on into the game. I think they went like 3 and out and went to go punt, and then we ended up doing that, and I was like, yes, this is going to be a really fast game, and it was not. So it was very back and forth. It was close at some points. Then like at one point we finally went up by like 2 scores, and then at the very end we ended up going up by 3 scores, and I was like, okay, we can finally relax a little bit, because you know, it was very close. So it was again, it was a little bit of an intense game, but this was another team that I don't think that in all of the years we've played, I don't believe that we have actually beat them either. Along with the first team that we ended up beating, which was the second game of the season, we had not beaten them either ever. So I think that that's super, super cool, and you know, like I said, kind of making history in a lot of different ways this year. But then on top of that too, again, making the playoffs off of this win, which was awesome. And another kind of fun thing was that we had 5 touchdowns. Again, the 1 special teams touchdown, and then we had another 4 touchdowns after that. All of them were scored by the same kid. It was pretty amazing, and he is, again, too, probably one of the studs on the football team, as far as just, you know, like playmaker on both offense and defense. He is just a really, really awesome football player, and so it was really cool to see that. And again, too, the whole team in general, we had an interception, we had, like I said, a couple of other really big plays, and just again, too, the way the kids kind of all rallied together. You know, it was also senior night, and I was like, in the last, you know, 20 something years, there has not, you know, normally senior night is, if it's at home, if you play your last game at home, normally it's always the last game, the last home game of the season. So if your last game's at home, senior night's the last game of the season. And even if not, like last year, Jack played, the final game was away, so they didn't end up, you know, they had senior night like the game before when they had it at home, and then the following game was the you know, they had it away. And again, too, normally the senior night, or at least the last game of the season, it's like the last game. You know, senior night's your last home game of the season, the last time you're going to play at home. And while again, too, seeding wise, we probably won't end up playing at home for any playoff games, but you know, we've never had a senior night game that ends up not being the last game of the season, or the final game of the season away not being the last game of the season. Like, again, too, we're still playing another game next week, which is 21 years has not happened. So I'm super, super excited. Again, I'm happy every camera stuff worked out. I didn't have to bother anybody about that. We got all that down and it was working and everything. But like I said too, just the game in general too was just very awesome. It was close, but it was a really awesome game. And just again too, I think the rally of the kids was also just a really, really cool thing. And even too, the stands were so packed, and you know, it was just, like I said, it was an awesome experience. And like, even Jack was crying. He got emotional today, you know, and Matthew was even too, like he said, he was a little teary-eyed because, you know, they came up and played through this football, you know, system and stuff like that, but their seasons were very successful. Jack, I think, had 1 win, maybe, I don't know, like his freshman, sophomore year, but like his 2 years at varsity, they only had 1 win each. So like, you know, and then to come out and be 5-4 the following year after Jack graduates, you know, is like, he's like, we set the groundwork, you know, with this new coach, with, you know, again, the new system, all this kind of stuff. Like, they set the groundwork to, you know, for these kids now that are, you know, having a successful season this year, you know, and I think that that's just awesome. So I am up late. I'm gonna take a shower and get to bed. I was like, the adrenaline from today, I just like, I can't really sleep. So I'm gonna try and take a shower now and get to bed, but I'll see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see y'all versus shiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.